For many, the societal hierarchies of the Camarilla are the only thing preventing the Kindred populace from developing into insatiable monsters. Without guidelines and structures to dictate proper behavior and thought, Kindred would be no better than animals. In some domains, the duties of the Herald have been subsumed by the Prince. In other domains, the function of the Heralds has become a lasting and unshakable legacy, one that has survived intact through the years, even if the holder of the Praxis has been petty and transient. Heralds from a number of major domains have come together to form an unofficial network, commonly referred to as the Society of Heralds. The heralds of this group share influence, gossip, and political sway. Greetings, Kindred. I am Voivode Maquette, and welcome back to our World of Darkness and the Laws of the Night playlist. In this playlist, we go over LARP, live action roleplay rules for Vampire the Masquerade, which are presented to us by Mind's Eye Theater and By Night Studios. So, Loresheets in the book are marked down as a special type of background advantage. You can buy these at character creation, or with your storyteller's permission, you can buy them after your character's already been in play for some time. This is something that you're going to want to talk to your storyteller about, because not all Loresheets will fit within the confines of a chronicle. Loresheets are a special way of not only giving your character a special advantage or advantages in gameplay, but also tying them in to the overall background meta plot within the Vampire the Masquerade storyline. I have found as a storyteller that Loresheets tend to be ignored at character creation just because it's a new mechanic and people don't exactly know what it is. Now, depending on when you're watching this, or even in your chronicle setting, this might not be true for you. You could very well have a game there people are obsessed with Loresheets, and with good reason. People who are used to playing Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition tabletop will know the benefits of Loresheets and exactly what they can do for your character. And there are several options in Laws of the Night and in future publications coming out from By Night Studios. That being said, I do want to point out that Loresheets are a lot different in LARP than they are in tabletop. In the tabletop setting of Vampire the Masquerade, Loresheets are going to add a special nuance to your character sheet. You might get a bump here and there in a background or even a discipline power because you have an associated Loresheet. However, in LARP, Loresheets tend to be a heavier hitting mechanic. They give you massive advantages. And they also should be something that are limited in a game. Maybe only allowing a certain number of people out of a larger group to take that amount. Or you could build an entire chronicle completely around a Loresheet. Another huge difference from tabletop to LARP is that, much like all other backgrounds in LARP, the Loresheets are limited to 3 different advantages instead of 5 as they are in tabletop, as there is a condensed way of running things, as with all backgrounds in LARP, compared to tabletop. Purchasing Loresheets can be done with your free points at character creation. At character creation, you get 7 free background traits, and you are completely allowed to dump those points into a Loresheet, getting those free dots. And I want to stress that very much because there's a difference between dots and experience traits. At character creation, you will be given a free amount of experience traits to flesh out your character, to make them an individual. And when you have those are to be spent as experience points. Backgrounds are purchased at 3 experience per dot. But with your 7 free traits of dots, you can just take the points completely without worrying about the expanded cost when it comes to experience. That being said, if you wanted to buy the Sect Veteran Loresheet, for example, taking that would cost you 6 of your 7 free dots of backgrounds. However, if you're going to buy it with your free XP at character creation, it would cost you 3 points for a level 1, 6 points for a level 2, and 9 experience points for a level 3. Bring the total to 18 points if you wanted to buy a complete lore sheet. Now, personally, I am the kind of person who likes to buy things little by little over time so that my character has a chance to grow into what those advantages are. That is my style of playing. It is not the only style of playing. And being able to start with a small amount of a lore sheet to build up the tension is a lot of fun. With that being said, you do not have to buy these in order of experience. You do not have to start with level 1. You could very well start with the 3-point background instead, because what these are associated advantages with the meta plot that your character can take advantage of in any order they wish. You could buy a 1, you could buy 1 and a 3, you could buy just the second one. You can do it any way you want to. And that needs to be kept in mind, that these are not a progression style trait. In that way, multiple characters could start with the same lore sheet and have completely different advantages for taking it. I like the concept of the Society of Heralds. I want to point that out first, because as far as things are going, when you look at the Darkness Emergent storyline, they're really pushing the concept of these factions. And I feel like the Society of Heralds is a faction within the Camarilla that is starting to gain traction. And let's just see exactly what you get if you are a member of this society. Investing 1 dot in this lore sheet gets you hot gossip. Your connection to the society lends you all sorts of information, much of which others would consider trivial. This helps you recognize vampires from other cities and possibly know a little about them. Up to 3 times per game, when a new vampire character arrives, you immediately recognize them, assuming they are not in disguise. The storyteller will provide you their character name, what city they call home, and what their status is in that city. Finally, you may ask the player if there are any rumors or interesting information about their character that they wish to share with you. They are not obligated to share anything with you, however. The easiest time to process this advantage is prior to the beginning of the game's session, when players are arriving and setting up. Then you have all the information you need without having to interrupt roleplay. I love the concept of the hot gossip. I really do. I like the idea that there are going to be people who just know who you are when you enter. That's part of being in a social interactive game like this, especially if there are rumors that abound about your character. When I set up for my LARP, I put up a Discord channel. And for those, if you're watching this and Discord is still a thing, I'm hoping it is. It seems pretty successful at this point in time of recording. I put down like where you could put down character profiles, and I have a set for rumors that would be floating around the city. This is very useful when it comes to that kind of thing. Having that information about someone before they enter, that way you don't have to really break roleplay is I think that's very useful. Investing 2 dots in this lore sheet gets you tenured protection. Because you are a herald in your own domain, or perhaps because of personal allies you have within the society, those who politically attack you risk having their own reputation tarnished. Should anyone voice opposition against you, your standing within the society negates their opinion. Once a month, you may ignore one opposition assigned to you. The character who assigned it to you may not assign you opposition for the remainder of the month. Now, this lore sheet, this point in the lore sheet talks about opposition. And this is where we get into the concept of status in a game. There are direct rules on how a person is to gain status in the city. And one of the best parts about this new system is it has nothing to do with what sect you're in. There is acknowledged and accepted for people who are in a Camarilla city or something like that. But the concept of how tough you are, or how fair you are, or any other number of monikers you could actually game have nothing to do with what sect you actually belong to. Basically, status within the game is universal. And it works out so well because if you have a character who is feared in the Anarchs, that fear is going to carry over to the Camarilla. And I like the way the mechanics work here. Now, much like you can get support, which will gain you more status after a time, depending on what level you have, you need a specific number of support, the number of opposition will lower your status. And this right here lets you ignore that. Investing 3 dots into this lore sheet gets you social elite. You have had a long-standing reputation with the Society. You may have been, or still are, a prominent Herald and Vampire Society, or your allies within the Society are numerous and respected. You may award support to any character, even one who has more status than you. In addition, you may award 1 additional support and opposition more than normal. For example, a status 2 vampire with this advantage can award 3 support and 3 opposition in a night. Now, this goes into what I was saying about support and opposition with status. Again, this allows you to go above and beyond because there are social rules. You cannot give more support or opposition than what you already have in status in a given game night. This allows you to extend over that, which can make or break a character's reputation in your city. And I'm going to point that out, in your city. If you are this high up on the totem pole of the Herald Society, it is your city. So, the Herald Society is a vast thing that I love. It is definitely a faction within the world of darkness that can make or break vampires who are entering a city or who even are well established. And this shows me that we do, at some point in time, need to go over how pre-station and status works in this game in its own individual video. And I cannot wait to actually get to that. I am Voivode Maquette, and this is Our World of Darkness. Thank you for joining me in this this episode that is allowing us to go through the various lore sheets that are found in the live-action version of Vampire the Masquerade. Good evening.